Yeah, looks like we've got global politics, World War II, and even AI on the menu.
Quite a mix, right. But, our listeners always send in the most fascinating sources.
And they always seem to connect in some way. I'm already intrigued, especially by this quote. Politics is the shadow of man on geography.
Ooh, that's a good one. It really makes you think, politics as a shadow.
It's a powerful metaphor, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Like, what does that shadow reveal about us, humanity?
Well, think about it. Geography, it kind of sets the stage, right? But it's human nature that drives the action.
Our ambitions, our fears.
Exactly. And all of those actions, good and bad, they cast a shadow.
Shaping the world around us.
Precisely.
Oh, okay, I like where this is going. So let's maybe look at some examples. One source tells this story about Saddam Hussein. He had this Iraqi man kidnapped.
Oh, I read about that. It was chilling.
Yeah, kidnapped and tortured. And the man wasn't even involved in politics.
It's even more disturbing when you consider Saddam's justification.
Oh, yeah. What did he say?
He reportedly said, "How do you want us to frighten the enemies?"
Wow.
So you can see a leadership style built on fear and control.
Yeah, silencing any dissent no matter what.
Exactly.
Okay, so total opposite end of the spectrum, we have Winston Churchill during World War II.
Okay, yeah.
A citizen sued the government over, get this, noise from military aircraft.
I remember reading that. I couldn't believe it.
Right. And the court ruled in the citizen's favor.
Incredible, even in wartime.
And Churchill, he respected the court's decision.
He did. There's that famous quote, something like, "A country where a judge can rule in favor of a simple citizen against the government in time of war, such a country will not be defeated by Hitler."
Powerful stuff. So, okay, we've got these two contrasting leadership styles, right?
Yeah.
What do you think the takeaway is for, let's say, someone listening who's trying to be a better leader in their own life? Maybe not on a global scale, but,
That's a great question. It makes me think about balance. Every leader needs to be strong, make tough calls.
Especially during a crisis.
Right. But true strength, it comes from respecting individual rights, making sure justice prevails.
So you're saying leaders who rely only on fear, they might get short-term results?
Yeah, but they might also be sowing the seeds of their own downfall.
Like Saddam Hussein.
Yeah, exactly. But a leader like Churchill, who shows commitment to justice and individual liberty.
They inspire trust.
Yeah, they build resilience.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've talked about the shadows cast by powerful people.
Yeah.
But what about the shadows cast by powerful technologies? I'm talking AI.
Okay, getting into the 21st century.
Right. One source dives into China's development of this AI engine called DeepSeek. It's supposed to be a game changer, especially for developing countries.
That's the one I was really interested in. What makes it so unique? And why should we care?
Right, break it down for us.
First, it's incredibly accessible, designed to be user-friendly, especially in places with limited resources.
So developing nations.
Exactly. Second, it's just incredibly powerful.
Powerful how?
Can analyze mountains of data, find patterns, make predictions, all with crazy accuracy.
And they achieved all of this with what, a small budget compared to?
Yeah, relatively speaking, it's pretty remarkable.
Okay, so why should we care about this DeepSeek thing?
Well, the rise of AI, anything this accessible, it has the potential to reshape the world.
You think it's that big of a deal?
I do.
Yeah.
It's like giving a whole new set of tools to a world still figuring out the lessons of the past,
That's a good point. And it's kind of ironic, right? The source even mentions how Donald Trump
Oh yeah, I saw that.
might have inadvertently helped China's tech rise.
Yeah. Thomas Friedman, he called Trump the builder of the Chinese nation.
Whoa! Strong words.
He argued that the trade war, the one Trump started, it actually pushed China to be more innovative.
So they wouldn't have to rely on the West so much.
Right.
Wow. Okay, so from dictators to democracies to AI.
It's all connected.
It is, right?
Yeah.
I want to pause here for a second, hear from our listener. What are your thoughts so far? What stands out to you about this whole AI thing?
What are you thinking about?
Yeah.
What's on your mind?
Yeah, it really makes you think, doesn't it? This AI thing, all this potential, but also all these risks. Like, where do we even go from here? It's a lot.
It is, yeah. A lot to unpack. I mean, the sources do a good job highlighting both sides, the good and the bad.
Right. Job losses, cybersecurity, but also maybe enhanced creativity, even technological dominance. It's a bit of a whirlwind.
It is. What are some of the things that stand out to you? Like, for you, what are the potential benefits and risks that really jump out?
Well, it's funny you mentioned jobs because that's the one that always gets me. Like, if AI can automate everything, what happens to us,
That's the big question, right?
Yeah.
Job displacement, it's a valid concern. But it's interesting because the benefits and risks, they're often two sides of the same coin.
What do you mean?
Well, take job displacement. AI could automate a lot of tasks, yeah, potentially leading to job losses. But it could also create whole new industries, jobs we haven't even thought of yet.
So it's not necessarily a one-to-one replacement?
Right. Think about the internet back in the early days. No one predicted e-commerce, social media, all the jobs that came with that.
That's true. We adapted, we evolved. So maybe with AI, it's not about fearing job losses, but more about preparing for the jobs of the future.
Exactly. Adapting and evolving alongside the technology.
Yeah.
Which brings up another interesting point from the sources, the impact of AI on creativity.
Oh yeah, that was wild. AI writing music, painting, even writing stories.
Right. It's sparking a lot of debate.
Yeah.
Will AI become just another tool for artists? Or will it, take over completely?
Yeah, what happens to human creativity if AI can do it all?
Some people think it'll just enhance our creativity.
Yeah.
Imagine a musician collaborating with AI to write a symphony.
That's kind of cool, actually.
Right. Or a painter using AI to generate new color palettes. It's like having a super creative partner pushing the boundaries of art.
I can see that, but I can also see the other side, What if AI-generated art just, homogenizes everything?
Yeah, that's the fear. Algorithms dictating what's good art, potentially stifling human expression.
It's tricky. Like any powerful tool, it comes down to how we use it, I guess. Speaking of powerful tools, we gotta talk about cybersecurity.
Oh, right. That source painted a pretty bleak picture.
Yeah. AI being used for malicious purposes. That's, unsettling, to say the least.
It is, and it's a real concern. As AI gets more advanced, the potential for misuse grows exponentially. We've already seen deepfakes.
Those fake videos.
Yeah. Incredibly realistic and incredibly dangerous for spreading misinformation.
And not just that, right? The source also mentioned cyber attacks.
Oh, absolutely. AI could be used to launch incredibly targeted attacks, finding vulnerabilities humans wouldn't even see.
So we need to be super vigilant about all of this, the ethical implications as AI keeps developing.
Couldn't agree more. And what's even more important to remember, AI isn't just some futuristic concept.
It's already here, right?
Exactly. It's already woven into our lives. Think about the algorithms that curate your social media feeds.
Showing you what they think you want to see.
Exactly. Or facial recognition software used for security.
So AI is already influencing us without us even realizing it half the time.
That's the thing, and that's where algorithmic bias comes in. One of the sources talked about that.
Right. The idea that if AI is trained on biased data,
it can perpetuate, even amplify existing inequalities. It's a huge problem.
Can you give an example so people can really grasp what you mean?
Sure. Imagine an AI system used for loan approvals, right? If it's trained on data that reflects, let's say, historical lending disparities, racial disparities, whatever it may be.
It might unfairly deny loans to certain people.
Exactly. Based solely on their demographics. So we need to make sure AI is developed fairly, transparently, and that we can hold it accountable.
It's like this constant balancing act. AI could solve so many problems.
It really could.
But we gotta be so careful about the risks.
I think that's a great way to put it. And that's where the conversation needs to shift. It's not just what can AI do, but what should it do?
That's a good distinction. So how do we even begin to answer that? I mean, this is all so complex.
It is complex.
Yeah.
But I think the first step is, it's a collective conversation.
What do you mean?
We need everyone involved. Technologists, policymakers, ethicists, the public, everyone.
Working together to make sure AI benefits all of humanity.
Precisely. And that brings us back to the listener. What can they do? It's easy to feel helpless with all this,
Totally. So for someone listening, what's their first step? How can they be a responsible citizen in this whole AI age?
Well, first, just be aware. Pay attention to how AI is being used in your own life.
Like those algorithms we were talking about.
Exactly. Question the assumptions behind those technologies.
Don't just blindly accept it.
Right, and talk about it. Have conversations about the ethical implications.
Okay, so awareness is key. One source also talked about education.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We need to teach future generations how to navigate all of this.
It's crucial. We need to be having these conversations in schools, in communities, even around the dinner table.
The more we know,
the better equipped we'll be to make smart choices.
Makes sense. Okay, so let's bring it back full circle. We started talking about how politics is a reflection of humanity.
Right, the shadow.
Exactly. So if AI is becoming this tool in politics, in the world,
what does that say about the future we're creating?
What kind of reflection do we want to see? It's a big question, right? What kind of future are we building? What do we want to see?
And it all comes back to us, doesn't it? Our choices.
What do you mean?
Well, Will we use AI to, to solve problems, to help people? Or will we let it make things worse? More inequality, more conflict.
It's like you said before, AI is a tool.
Exactly. It's powerful, but it's neutral. It's up to us to decide how we use it.
Like, do we want AI that empowers people, that helps us be more creative, more understanding?
Or do we sleepwalk into a future where it's all about surveillance and control? And profit, of course.
Yeah, profit always seems to be a part of the equation.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
So where do we go from here? What are some concrete steps, you think? How do we make sure AI is used for good?
It's a tough one. It feels so big,
It is big. But I think transparency is key.
Transparency how?
We need to know how these systems are being built, what data they're using, how decisions are being made.
So we can hold people accountable.
Exactly. We also need regulations to protect against bias, discrimination.
Make sure AI is used ethically.
Right, which is why education is so important. The more we understand...
The more we can advocate for change.
Exactly, and this is where the listener comes in again. We need to be having these conversations everywhere.
Not just experts, right?
Right, in our homes, our workplaces, everywhere.
We need to be informed so we can make good choices about the future of AI.
Exactly, informed choices.
Okay, so we've talked about dictators, we've talked about AI, the rule of law, leadership, balance.
It's all connected, isn't it?
It really is. But here's a final thought for our listeners before we wrap up. You mentioned AI being a reflection of humanity.
Yeah, the shadow.
But what if it's a two-way street? What if the technology we create, like AI, actually shapes who we become?
Whoa, that's deep.
Right. I mean, if we create technology that prioritizes, efficiency over empathy, control over freedom.
Do we risk becoming a society that reflects those values? That's a scary thought.
It is. But on the flip side, if we build technology that empowers people, that helps us connect with each other,
Then maybe we can shape a more humane future.
a future that reflects our better qualities.
Exactly. It's a choice.
And-
And we make that choice every day.
With every decision we make about technology.
Every line of code, every investment, every conversation.
So it's not about being afraid of the future.
It's about shaping it.
About recognizing that we have a say in how this all unfolds.
We do. Our choices matter.
That's a great note to end on. I hope our listeners are leaving this deep dive feeling informed, engaged, and ready to shape the future.
Me too. It's been quite a journey.
It has. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and we'll see you next time for another deep dive.